2016 meeting of Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh.
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends newspaper, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of silence, thanking the individuals serving our nation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen. The clerk will please call the roll.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Here.
Mr. Phelan?
Here.
Mr. Vanderhoff is absent. Mrs. Winterfield?
Here.
Mayor Cole?
Here. There are no presentations scheduled for the evening, so we'll move on to reports from volunteers. At this time, are there reports or comments from any volunteers serving our community? Frank?
Who's going to go first?
Frank Spazzeri, 35 West Franklin Avenue, Vice Chair of Open Space.
Excuse me? Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm in charge of Vice, yeah. You all should have a copy of this. I put this out. I've updated it as far as we are right now with all the houses that we bought and all that. So this list is pretty much been cut into a third, I would think, which I think with all your help and all the monies we got, I think we did pretty good. So there's the last report. I'll keep it up though, even as vice chair, just so we keep abreast of what we're looking for. Thank you.
Can I ask
Thank
you?
you.
Can I ask you a quick question, Frank? For the columns that say purchase or interested, like where there's nothing filled in, what does that mean? Where are we with that? Nowhere. Like in other words, some have comments and some don't. Some say yes, some say no, and then some are just blank.
Right. And if you look at column F, it says easements.
Uh-huh.
Column G says purchase,
Right.
and the other one is interested, yes or no. So
Okay. So
most
it's
of them are
those three.
easements, and the ones that we want to purchase
Or
is the yes column.
got it. All right.
And then some people had said no, that they don't want to sell it.
All right. So this is updated. You either got something filled in on the F, G, or H. Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other reports from volunteers? Louise?
Hi, Louise Marchese of 16 Roland Road, reporting secretary for the Flood Advisory Committee. We met just last week. We had the re-swearing in of 4 of the members, myself, Don, Ken, and Kim, for another 3-year term. We have a new member, Robert Corrado, and he brings a lot to the table. We got together and talked about the goals for this year, 2016. We do have a lot of goals. One of the things is to put together a procedure for disaster. We also want to find out the first point of where our shelter would be in a case of a disaster. Someone suggested having an OEM rep come and speak to us at one of our meetings. We're also going to keep abreast of any legislation coming down from the state and county levels. We're also going to proceed for a second grant application. We had discussed, it was discussed last year about a concept house, and we'd like to pursue that also. Another thing we're planning on is a public meeting, possibly for that public meeting to have representatives from FEMA, insurance, involving flood, of course, real estate, American Red Cross, Newbridge Services, someone in the legislation position. We have a wish list, and if it works out, it'd be great to coordinate that many people on that day. Also, what was brought out is it can be that an app can be put on a phone that would hook up the flood advisory to the town site. That's something that was brought up. And then someone else said that at this point in time, there is such an app for the American Red Cross. So that's something else, that'll be another tool for us down the road. Another suggestion is to put together a flood video for the public, and this would pretty much be mirrored from the brochure that we have now. And that's about it. And Dave, thank you. I think the town did a fabulous job. I really, really do. I have no complaints. Thank you.
Thank you, Louise.
We're referring to snow plowing, correct? Luis,
Excuse me?
snow plowing, right? You said a fabulous job, but
Oh, yeah, some people complain about the corner. I have no complaints about the corners at all. I really think we did a good job.
an outstanding job.
Outstanding, that's another good one.
I don't think there's any other volunteers, so we'll move on to public comment. The next item on the agenda is public comments. This public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period for public comment is reserved later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized. Come to the microphone, provide your name and address for the record. Please.
Louise Marchese, 16 Roland Road, Flood Advisory Committee. One of the reasons why I'm asking the questions, and again, this is a general question, only because I saw it in the trends. I'm not trying to stir anything up. But there was an article just last week about the CRS rating for the town of Lincoln Park. And based on whatever it is they're doing there, and I'm not familiar with it, but whatever they're doing is getting their residents a 25% discount. And I believe we currently get a 15% discount. If I'm wrong, correct me. Maybe you know what the difference is. I don't, it really wasn't spelled out, in the article.
Well, it has to do with the rating that you receive, and every, one increment of rating gets you an additional 5%. So our current rating is a 7. You start at a 10, which gives you 0. So a 7 gives you 15%. A 5 would give you 25%. We do have an application in to improve our rating. We're waiting to hear on that.
But would you know off the top of your head, what are they doing that's any different than what we're doing?
Well, probably not a lot.
Okay.
We've increased the amount of things that we have submitted to receive points for, and many of them are a lot of the same things that Lincoln Park is doing. So we hope to get credit for those things. Now, the CRS has changed their scoring mechanism, so the things that we were doing 3 years ago that got us a 7 would no longer get us a 7. We have to be doing more just to get a 7. So I don't know if they got their rating under the new rating system or the old rating system, but it's unlikely that based on whatever a town had 3 or 4 years ago, it'd be unlikely that they'd keep that rating unless they were doing more now. So, we spent a lot of time in the last 2 years with the public information. A lot of things that we were doing, we just needed to coordinate or document better to get the points for them. And we submitted all that last fall. The reviewer came out, looked through all our files, and hopefully within the next 60 days we'll find out what our new rating is.
You mentioned we applied for what exactly did we apply for?
The rating,
The rating itself. Okay.
yes.
All right, thank you for explaining that.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Go ahead.
Tom Housleben, 3 Peck Ave, Pumpkin Plains. Several months ago, I submitted an application to be connected to the North Pumpton sewer extension to the Cabon's Bar and Grill. And I have just a little bit, I think at the last meeting I was asked to bring some details as to, what is needed to be done. And I've worked hard at that, and I have a list that I just submitted, and I'd just like to read it. I went to the DPW. I was told they received rough draft of sewer plans last week. A month ago, they did not receive them. I spoke to the town engineer, Mr. Golden. He told me he was not involved in the project. He told me I should call Crew Engineering Department, who is located on Route 23 in Butler, New Jersey, and I should speak to an Alex Mitigan to view the plans. I also called the Do Not Dig services to have my ground pipes marked out. I was told it must be done by a contractor and it must be scheduled. It's only good for 3 months and there is no charge for that. In noting, I'm adding this, in noting that there's a 3 months window, I've asked a couple times that when are we going to break ground and when are we going to start the sewer main extension. And I also contacted a contractor, Ken Finlay. He's the president of the company. He owns Finlay Landscaping LLC. He told me there was no problem. It's a typical hookup to 3 Peck Ave. I believe my next step, and I've done this all on my own decisions, I've gotten no directions from the town council, and I'm asking for your guidance, I believe at this time. I will call the crew engineer and I will make an appointment with Alex and to see what my options are. And the bottom line is, if the crew engineer can find a way for me to connect, will the town council approve? That's all I have tonight.
Well, yeah, and I mean, some of these things are not really, you did a lot of work that you don't necessarily have to do. Crew engineer is the township's engineer. They design sewers on our behalf. And they're the engineer that has designed this project to date and is currently involved in construction management. So, I mean, that's something that would work through us. Taking a step back, the couple times that you've been here in the past, you basically asked the township council for permission to connect into the sewer system. And at our last meeting,
Yes.
council did discuss the sewer master plan that's been in effect for about 13 years, which is the plan that allocates the limited amount of sewer treatment resources that we have to certain areas of the community. What that plan essentially says is that those the sewer treatment processing gallonage that we have has been applied to primarily flood-prone areas within the community and commercial areas within the community. And it specifically excludes the residential areas that are non-flood. So council reviewed those plans and essentially confirmed that that master plan needs to remain in effect until and unless the township secures more treatment capacity. So effectively, the answer is no to connections of residential properties that are not in the sewer master plan.
My turn? I always hate to interrupt, okay?
Sure.
Okay, going back to the minutes of the meeting, my statements were, and I used the word volume very boldly. I understand what volume is, okay? Volume is capacity. Volume is what you've been leaning on, okay? The volume of the volume that will be produced by the Cabones Bar and Grill, okay, which in my personal opinion is the reason for this extension. No other reason. You're taking 17 people down the line. 2 that I know of have new sewer systems, septic systems. They are against connection, but you are forcing them in a time frame, whatever it is, 2 or 3 years, you must connect and you must pay the assessment. Okay, I understand everything you're telling me. The volume that I will produce, as I stated at the last meeting or 2 meetings ago, would be a drop in the bucket. Okay, I understand totally about the commercial line and the floodplain. I've been living in this town for over 50 years, okay? And I would like to bring up something, and I have been prepared to present this to you, but I am not prepared tonight, okay? I'd like to use the word precedence, okay? I'm no lawyer, but I read well and I study well, okay? My opinion of the word precedence means if the person at the left of this row of people sitting in front of me were allowed to do something, and I don't know if there's a time frame Whether that means, yeah, precedence means it was a law. It was a similar situation. It was something that was approved and accepted. The word precedence, in my opinion, is fact. It's law. If it was approved for them, it should be approved for the next individual in a similar case. The case I wish to bring up is 157 Boulevard, okay? It is probably the biggest house on the street. It's 4,400 square feet, okay? And if I don't pronounce it properly, I apologize. The owner of the home is Simone or Salmone, whatever. It's a construction company, okay? They were permitted, which I say precedence, they were allowed to connect to the sewer main. For whatever reason, I do not know the reason, they had to bring their neighbor to the left in with the connection, which is, I believe, 151, excuse me if I'm wrong, I don't have my notes, that's my next presentation, if it means anything, okay? The other property that was told that had to be connected, okay, was 1 Birch Road, or Birch Drive, or Birch Road, okay? The excuse me if I'm wrong again, but the ex-chief of police was Butch Harper. So coincidental, Butch Harper lived on Birch Road. He was brought into the plan, he was connected. The $1 million house, the 404,000 square feet home, did the work, and for whatever reason, the neighbor on the left was also brought into that connection. It is a non-commercial area, it is a residential area, and it is this little window in the mile or miles of the boulevard. For whatever reason, precedent shows they were allowed to connect.
Where is the sewer on it? It's got it. He
The-
didn't bring it all the way down from the turnpike.
And there's a sewer line that runs down the boulevard from Sunset to Lincoln Park. So there was a sewer line immediately in front of those houses.
Correct. I have photographs showing that they tapped off of the main, and the manhole cover in the middle of the road, again off of memory, I think it's Paulison Ave, I'm not sure though, because I'm not prepared, I'm scrambled with other things, that it's a 24-inch manhole. It says Port Authority, 2 bridges, blah, 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 okay? Right directly off of that takeoff, call it a lateral, okay, is a 20-inch manhole. No name, nothing, okay? The construction company connected to there, ran down the sidewalk. My pictures will show this. I will be happy to come next meeting to present the photographs, okay, of the connection, okay? And I feel like I'm trying my best, and if I don't, you know, if you deny me, I accept that too. But at least I know I put my best foot forward, okay? And my bottom line is, if I leave you with something tonight, show me the precedence of why it was allowed for the $1 million home who, bottom line is, did all the work, cost the town not a dime. I know what money's all about. We work every day. I don't want to work, but I have to. I have to support my family. I know what money's about. It did not cost the town a dime. The construction company, with his resources, connected a lateral off of the main and went lefty one house and righty one house and satisfied his needs. His needs, okay? So I'm just asking you to just consider precedence and volume, and I'm 75 feet away, and I just need to know if you deny me tonight, I accept it. I just don't want to continue coming and beating a dead horse to an end of no result. No, I'm not going to resolve my question.
If you'll indulge me for 2 minutes, because I don't want you to think you're being treated differently than the people on the boulevard. That is a different situation. That sewer line, which is a sewer main that was installed by the Regional Sewer Authority to bring sewage from up-county towns, Butler, Kinlaw, Bloomingdale, to the treatment plant in Lincoln Park. It was built by another entity, but it goes through our town. It was built in 1984, 1986, before any of us were involved in the town. The decision at that time was made to allow individual property owners to choose whether they were going to connect at that time or not. That was done at that point. However, All of the properties along that sewer line are counted as part of the used capacity, because the assumption is that all of those homes are going to connect at some time. If there's a septic failure of one of those homes, because they're within 100 feet of the sewer line, they are obligated under state law to connect to that line. So we've already calculated from Sunset all the way down to Lincoln Park border, there's probably about 36 homes that are not connected to that line. At some point they will be if they ever have sanitary septic failures. They'll be required to. The difference is there's already a sewer line that was built by a different agency already in the road. Okay, so that is not a municipal sewer line. It's owned by a third party, but it's a sanitary sewer line. The sanitary sewer line that we're building in the turnpike is a municipal sewer line that we will own once it is constructed. And the thing about the precedence is we do not have enough capacity to permit all of the residential homeowners in the township to connect who want to. So we had to come up with this plan, and that's what the sewer master plan does. It identifies the areas considered to be most in need, either through environmental reasons for flooding, or economic reasons, that's the commercial districts. And there are a large number of areas within the community, essentially the entire area between the Turnpike and Boulevard, that don't have sewers and probably won't in the foreseeable future unless the township acquires more capacity. There are quite a few homeowners who have asked to connect, and we have consistently said no because we don't have enough capacity. That would be the inconsistent precedent we would be setting by saying yes to you, is we wouldn't then be able to say no to anyone else. And even though your 300 gallons per day probably wouldn't throw us over, if we were to say yes to another 200 or 300 or 400 homeowners who do want sewers, that would cause a capacity problem for us.
Yes or no answer. Was the extension done to pacify or to accommodate the Cabones Bar and Grill? Yes or no? It was not.
No.
No,
It was not done for the Cabones.
that part of the turnpike was on the master sewer plan.
Yeah, but it should have been done like 2 years ago when you were extending the line to satisfy Evans Place, to satisfy the special needs housing. Okay? I personally feel, okay, and I don't want to get too deep into, the wrong words, but I really think the Cabones pulled a real strong lever. Whatever the lever was, I think they pulled it, okay? Whether it was a lawyer, whether it was other reasons I don't wish to say, okay? And I'm just going to let that go because I have my most final answer, okay? Final question, okay? King's Kid, this end of town, okay, purchased the property, put up, I'm going off of memory again, purchased the property way before it was King Kid, Ken owned it, okay? He put up 4, 8, it doesn't matter, he put up 4 apartments, he put in sewer system for that, okay? He spent X amount of dollars. Come down the road, knock, knock, knock on the door, a year later, 4 years later, welcome to our sewer connection. You must connect, okay? Here's the last question I have, bottom line answer. Will you ever connect, I'm just picking streets out of the top of my head, and I know exactly what you're telling me about volume, okay? The 2 bridges, sewer, main, I use round numbers, can do 10,000 gallons a day. Let's just say, let's go forward 7 years from now, 10 years from now. They put $500,000, they put 500, round number again, they put $25 million into their facility. Now they can handle 1,000 gallons a day, okay, 10,000 gallons a day.
They're not, they
Let me
are,
ask-
okay.
I'll answer the question. I happen to be on the Twin Bridge Sewer Authority. It's $80 million to put in
Well, I'm a $10, $100, $1,000.
They are not
$80
going to
million
do it, it's
to,
gonna be the towns
right,
that.
and it would
Okay,
be,
80
Pequannock would have to pick up the majority of the cost of that,
Okay.
$80 million.
80, let's use $80 million as the number.
Right.
$80 million just came out of the lottery, okay? We all know about the lottery, okay?
I didn't win, I know that.
None of us won,
Yeah.
okay? My number one question when I leave you tonight, and I accept probably your answer that I assumed I would receive, okay? Will you, 5 or 10 years from now, okay, run a line, run a leg down Hopper, force people to connect, run a line down Sherman, run a line down my street, Peck Ave, and force me to connect in $80 million from now or 10 or 20 years from now? Will you connect if the volume capacity is receivable? They can receive our volume.
We would have to make the decision to spend that money in the sewer authority. The town would have to kick in that money, and at this point in time, I don't see us doing that.
Okay, that's,
I mean, that's an honest answer.
no, I only want an honest answer, okay?
I feel for you, I would love to do this, but there's a volume issue here. And-
Hey, I'm okay with it. I just want to ask you something.
Sure.
Would you spend $20,000 in 2016 and then have to spend $20,000 again in 2020? Because we got our 80 billion. We got our capacity.
Okay, you want my honest answer?
Yeah, please.
I'd be mad.
You'd be mad?
Yeah.
I'm standing here for no reason because I'd be mad.
Right, exactly. I would
So-
be mad.
Okay, and
But
It's
realistically, we're not
highly
gonna-
unlikely.
right, realistically, it's not gonna happen.
okay, bottom line is that's what I was hoping to hear. Because I will spend $20,000 and I hope we're all here in 10 or 20 years. So I can say, thank
I'm
you.
here too.
I had a question for you. Is, talking about spending $20,000, is your system compromised right now?
Yes, it is.
That you have to replace it?
I have to make a decision. My decision is to give you people here $20,000 or pay the $7,000 assessment fee and give you the, I'm a round number guy, the $10,000 to the $1,000 to extend it, just to reach my, she remembers, my 75 feet. I'm that close, okay? I will give you the dollars now because I do not want to give you the dollars twice in 10 years from now. So,
I can assure you, you will not be giving us the money twice, 10 years from now.
yeah, but it happened to King's Kid. It happened to two
It's not gonna
people.
happen.
It happened to two people.
There's not enough capacity.
Yeah, but $80 million, it can come from somewhere.
It's not coming from, honest, it's not coming from anywhere.
You can't predict the future. 20 years.
No, you're right, I can't predict the future, but when it comes to money, I have a pretty good idea. It ain't gonna
Okay.
happen.
Okay. So my peace of mind is, and I'm leaving this, and I thank every one of you. Okay, my peace of mind is, I will make an investment, and I will not get stabbed in the back 10 or 20 years from now. Ha, ha, ha. Come and connect. We want you now. So, I'm just really happy. I mean, I was nervous. I'm getting less nervous. You're a man, you're a woman, you're just people.
Well, based on all the information that we have and everything that was presented to us from, Twin Bridges, and based on going through the master plan, I could feel comfortable that that is the correct answer.
Yes.
Okay, well, I feel
Based
bad.
on what we know today.
I understand, but I just feel bad for the,
It probably doesn't make you feel any better, but you can see my mother's house from standing in front of your driveway on the other side of the railroad tracks. I just spent the $20,000 replacing her septic system this past summer
I can feel for you.
because, and same thing. I mean, the house is, I can see where the sewers are, but
It's not gonna happen.
it's not going to happen.
That's, all I have is a question for the bottom line, and I thank you for giving me that. Okay? I'll see you someday.
All right.
Get more comfortable.
You're welcome
Thank
to
you.
come to any meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Enjoy your
understand that.
company.
I understand that. I just want to say thank you and wish you all a happy new year, and I'll go forward with my needs.
Thank you.
Good
Be
luck.
well.
Good
Good
luck.
luck. Thank you.
Any other public comment? There being no additional public comment, we will continue with the agenda. Next on the agenda is public hearing on ordinance number 2016-01. Ms. Marsh.
This is ordinance number 2016-01, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a contract for the purchase of block 2601, lot 4 from Doris Henning.
Are there any comments from the council?
I have a couple of comments. There's only 4 of us here tonight, and we have to vote on this. I read the letter that Dave sent out. My concern is where are we getting the money from, and obviously you spelled out the possibilities of where we're getting the money from. I'm not comfortable with this. I'm gonna vote yes, but I'm not comfortable with it. When we get to the budget, I'm gonna make it known that we better be very careful in our budget because the way we spend money on this, I'm just not happy.
Any other comments?
No, I was just gonna say, I think it's an important piece of property to purchase for the future, and we'll find a way. So.
Well, I have my concerns as Councilman Phelan has. I think we're way overpaying for the piece of property, way over the appraiser value, way over. We're gonna have to knock the house down. We haven't even figured out that expense yet. You know, we don't have any of that in there. We're gonna have to, we don't knock it down right away, we're gonna have to board it up or do something. Possibility for the future, I'm not sure if we'll be alive when we would possibly use it. I thank you, Dave, for the breakdown of where we could get the money from. And then I guess we'll have $88,000 left, if that's what we do. Is that how I read that on your
Well,
report?
Yeah, at the end of 2016, based on, fulfilling the commitments that we have in front of us, going through with this purchase, completing the Martin Berry purchase, there's still funding available in open space at the end of the year.
Okay.
If anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. No one. Is there a motion to opt this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2016-01.
I'll second. Roll call?
Mrs. Florence Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Phelan,
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield,
Yes.
Mayor Cole.
Yes. Next on the agenda, there's no ordinance scheduled for introduction at this time. We'll move on to resolutions for approval. The next item is resolutions. Ms. Marsh.
Beginning with Resolution 2016-46, authorizing tax office refunds, overpayments, or cancellations. 2016-47, approving issuance of an alcoholic beverage control social affairs special permit for Holy Spirit School. 2016-48, approving issuance of an alcoholic beverage control social affairs special permit for Pequannock Township First Aid and Rescue Squad. 2016-49, confirming the designated memberships in the Pequannock Township Fire Department. This is for Moriarty. 2050, authorizing payment in the amount of $641.22 to Allison Steigerwald for accumulated leave. 2016-51, authorizing payment in the amount of
$135.80.
Right, I just wanted to make sure I read the first one right. $2,135.80 to Joan Finelli for accumulated leave. R 2016-52, authorizing the Municipal Alliance grant application for the fiscal year 2017. R 2016-53, authorizing purchases from designated vendors awarded contracts by the Morris County Cooperative Purchasing Council. And R 2016-54, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the January 22nd, 2016 bill list.
Thank you. Are there any comments on the resolution from council?
No comments.
Everybody's good?
No, I'm good.
Is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2016-46 through 2016-54.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mrs. Florence Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Phelan,
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield,
Yes.
Mayor Cole.
Yes. There's no items on the agenda for discussion. Next on the agenda is reports and notices. Anything? Are there any comments about reports and notices? Looks
No.
like we received one. Next on the agenda is manager report. Mr. Holberg.
I wish to thank Department of Public Works for an excellent job managing snow clearing operations and supporting our emergency services during the snowstorm and getting our roads cleared efficiently after the storm ended. A reminder to businesses and homeowners to keep sidewalks and fire hydrants adjacent to your property clear of snow and ice. The hospital taxation legislation was not signed by the governor, effectively vetoing the bill, pocket veto, before the end of the session. It's expected that similar bills will be reintroduced early next session, so we'll watch. And then finally, I provide a funding summary in open space based on what we know today.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is council reports and announcements. Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
Just tonight before this meeting, we held a special meeting at the library to talk about, to get more details on the expansion of the children's room. There, as you know, there's about a little over 1,600 feet that it's going to be added onto the left side of the library. So they're narrowing it down. They've gotten bids. They had the one of the architects come in to fine-tune things, make sure that everything was in there, and it looks like they'll be able to do it no problem with the budget that they have, which was, you know, gifted money, as you know. So they're working on that, and we're getting close to making a decision. What else do I have?
On that, David, does that need to come to council for approval?
I would say that they need some type of approval from you. It's your property and
Yep.
your building.
Yep.
It's gonna
Right.
add to the
Yeah.
expense.
Yeah, no, they will. They're,
I don't know what the proper method for that is, but they should at least
yeah.
ask.
And they will.
Yeah,
One of
they
the
will.
first things they're gonna do is go, once they make that decision, yes, they're gonna come to council. They have to get a couple of questions answered from the engineer's office. And once they get that all done, then yes, the plan was to come here to council, and then of course they're gonna have to go to the planning board and all that other stuff. So, I'm sure at some point they will present, you know, to us. So that answers your question? And then if there's anything we need to do, we'll do that. Also, economic development meets tomorrow night at 7:30, just so you know. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to make that meeting because I am going to be away for a week, so. Leaving
Enjoy.
Thank you. That's it.
Councilman Phelan?
A couple of things. First, I want to mention that the first aid quote went out on 3 calls on Saturday during the blizzard. You guys don't listen like I do. So we really have to thank these volunteers because the weather was horrible, and
Right.
we know who works the Saturday crew. So I do want to thank the first aid squad for everything that they do, especially in situations like that. The DPW, I sent out the email or forwarded the email. You know what the DPW did for them? The DPW, I'd like to say, did a fantastic job of clearing the streets. We can't ask for a better group of people. February 27th is casino night for the first aid squad at Holy Spirit. Just keep that in mind. And the last thing is the skate park met was it last Saturday or Saturday before? Two Saturdays before. The one location that they wanted to do fell through, so now they're looking at a couple other locations, and we'll probably have a better idea of where they want to try to put this after they meet with the Parks and Rec Department. And then they'll come to council and explain from there.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Litchfield?
I don't have anything, just have my historic meeting next Wednesday, and that's it.
All right. I also would like to thank DPW and all of our first responders for the work that they did during the blizzard. It was a huge storm and a big accomplishment, and reassuring to know that we have such great people, volunteering and working in the town. Fair Housing will meet this Wednesday, and other than that, that's all I have. Next is public comment. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized. Come to the microphone, provide your name and address for the record. Sharon.
There's like nobody here.
Good evening, Council. Sharon Taylor, 19 Libby Avenue, Pompton Plains section of Pequannock Township. Where are we going to be 10 years from now? Where do we want to be 10 years from now?
I want to be retired.
I'm never going to be able to retire. By the way, Social Security's going, forget it. I'll be
Forget
working
that
forever.
401k.
How did I get stuck in Pequannock Township? That's what I should ask myself, right?
61.
61? I don't think I'm going to make it. I don't know.
You'll
We'll
make
see.
it.
We'll see.
It's not that bad.
I just wanted to also put in DPW did such an awesome job. You know, all day we saw them plowing all the roads. You know, everything is so clean. They did such a good job. We have such a good DPW in this township. Every season they do such a good job maintaining, decorating, and doing really good. So I'm glad that we have a good DPW squad. And I don't think last year, I said, David, you did a really good job last year too. I don't think too many people, I don't think too many people think you do a really good job in this town. So I'm glad that you're keeping everything under control, and I'm proud of you. I really am.
I've got great people.
Yeah, you do. You have I mean, from the last township manager, you could see what a big difference over the years, how much things have improved. So, I'm really proud of you. Good job. And then, just really quick, congratulations, Mayor Cole. How does it feel?
Good.
Feel good so far?
Married my first couple tonight.
Oh, you did. Very good. Congratulations. Good luck to them.
Thank you.
Hopefully they got a prenup, right? That's why I never got married. I just have one question for you,
Yes.
and I want you to be honest. There's no maybe in this question. Are you part of the skateboard club or not? Yes or no?
Will I support the skateboard club?
You're
Absolutely.
gonna be a part of the skateboard
Will
club.
you see me out on a skateboard? Probably not.
Are you gonna be there
Well, we want
watching?
to keep them healthy.
I really hope this happens this year. I really do. So I think the team has been doing good meeting. There's been a lot of great creativity in thinking things out, and I hopefully like to see something happen this year.
If we can make it happen, I'd love to see it happen.
All right, good. All right, have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Any other public comment? Next on the agenda is closed session. Do we have anything for closed session tonight? Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Do we have any minutes? We don't have minutes.
We do not.
No. Make a motion to adjourn.
We'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.